This coming Saturday, December 13th, we'll see the return to the ring of a familiar face in another Dazn Matchroom promotion. Let's talk about the fight that's coming up with someone in particular in the women's division of boxing. Boxing is a great sport, and if you follow it like I do, you're going to see some interesting factors come into play that you may not have anticipated. And this Saturday, there's a great card that'll be broadcast on DAZN featuring in the main event Diego Pacheco returning to the ring against Kevin Lely Sejo from Cameroon. That is not what we're talking about just yet, but we will be following up on those gentlemen because that's a banger, literally. But we're talking about the return to the ring of Sky Nicholson as she takes on Julian Luna Avila. Yeah, these two are going to fight for the WBC interim super bantamweight title. Now, some of you may remember that Sky Nicholson is a former world titleist. She had the WBC title until she ran into Tierra Brown earlier this year in March, where she lost a split decision to Brown in her home country of Australia. So since that fight, she has had two comebacks where she had two second-round stoppages over opponents Carla Camila Campos Gonzalez and Urvashi Singh. Now, both of those fighters were not fights that would measure up to the likes of Tierra Brown. In fact, Nicholson has decided not to face Brown. She actually moved down in weight to compete at the super bantamweight division. Now, Julian Luna is a good fighter, and she's a very experienced fighter. When we talk about these two coming together in this match, we're talking about someone who has more fights under her belt than Sky Nicholson has for her career. Now, Julian is a fighter who's bringing her record of 28 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw with 4 KOs at the age of 30. La Cabrita out of Mexico is ready to fight for this title. Now, she's a small woman at 5 foot with a 71-inch reach, but she has that aggressive Mexican style. She comes forward, she throws punches to the head and body, she puts her body weight behind her shots, and she is not afraid to commit with contact in close quarters. Most of this is because she has no choice because of her size. But she has fought for the WBC and WBO unified bantamweight title, and that was back in September of 2023 when she lost a 10-round decision to Dina Thorsten. And that was her last time fighting for a title. But this opportunity against Sky Nicholson is really a great opportunity for Luna. Now, Nicholson, on the other hand, as I said, having won 2 fights since losing earlier this year to Tierra Brown, is looking to get back into the championship mode. Of course, she's 30 years old and 5'5.5". She's a southpaw. And interestingly, when she gets in there with Luna, though she'll have the height and reach advantage, I'm not so certain that Sky's footwork is going to serve her well in this fight, because Luna, from what I've watched on video, knows how to cut the ring off and get in close. If Sky is going to commit to being offensive, pumping a jab and moving forward behind it, she's not noted as a puncher herself, with her record now being 14 wins, 1 loss, and 3 KOs. That'll be the way to fend off an aggressor like Luna. But will she do it? Or will she have flashbacks to when she fought Tierra Brown? That's going to be very interesting. Now, Sky has won a lot of fights with her lateral movement and athleticism. She gets in and out. She's kind of smooth with it. And some people don't like her because she's very prideful and she swims without getting wet, so to speak. But every once in a while, a fighter has to sit down and commit. And this is where we're going to ask the question of Sky: is she prepared to do that or not? It's going to be an opportunity straight away for her to show her wares. Now, if you look at this image of them on the poster, it's kind of like what they're going to look like in the ring as far as the height measurements. But Luna is accustomed to fighting people who are taller. Plus, like I said, she works with sliding left and right, stepping forward, slipping and punching. So will Sky be readily trained for that type of activity? It remains to be seen. And another thing, keep in mind, because this is a matchroom promotion, Hearn has been bringing her back slowly against certain type of opposition to gain her confidence back. But if they get into some exchanges and Luna is able to get her respect, it could go south easy for Sky in this fight. I didn't like how she handled the defeat to Tierra Brown. That whole thing about moving down and not wanting to even face a rematch or anything, that sent a message, and I'm not certain that it sent the proper type of message. The fight will be held in Stockton Arena in Stockton, California. And as I said, it's a matchroom promotion. I don't believe that Hearn is ready to put her in against real seething opposition yet, but you never know when the Mexican fighters are going to show up, and they have a propensity to upset the fighters out of the UK and the fighters out of Australia. So all in all, I think this is really going to be an intriguing matchup. I favor Sky because she has that experience of being a former champion and has fought on the Olympic level, and she's fighting in this type of situation where she's had the better opposition. But at 31, Luna may take this as a last gasp, as an opportunity to become a world titleist. And that you can never measure with someone's desire. So with that being said, what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about Sky Nicholson, and is she prepared to win an interim title on her way to a second world title in a second weight division? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.